Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about 10th class syllabus under this 10th class social studies. In this we are going to first go through the index. In index we are having some of the chapters. First chapter in the part 1. Part 1 is related to resource development and equality. Coming to the first chapter in part 1, it is India relief features, and second chapter is ideas of development, third chapter is production and employment, fourth chapter is climate of India, fifth chapter is Indian rivers and water resources, and 10th chapter is food security, and 11th chapter is sustainable development with equity. Coming to the deducted portion of part 1 are chapter 6 is India population, chapter 7 is settlement migration, chapter 8 is Ramapur a village economy, and chapter 9 is globalization. Coming to part 2, we are having contemporary world and India. In part 2, chapter 12 is world between the World War I, and chapter 14 is national movement in India, partition and independence of India we are going to study, and in 15th chapter the making of independence, India's constitution, and in 16th chapter we study about election process in India, and 17th chapter independent India, first 30 years from 1947 to 1977, and in chapter 18 emerging political trends from 1977 to 2000, in chapter 20 social movements in our times, and in chapter 21 the moment of all the formation of Telangana state. In part 2 the deducted portion are of two chapters: national liberation movements in the colonies, and chapter 19 is post World War and India. These are some of the topics which we are going to study in social studies. In this, coming to chapter 1, a brief introduction of chapter 1 is Relief India, means relief features of India. In part 1 we are having chapter 1 as India relief features. In this relief India features we are going to learn about location and how India is being located, and where it is being located in the world, and what are the boundaries of India and features of India. In coming to the second chapter we are going to study about ideas and development, how we are going to develop our society with some of the ideas which is going on implementation at the present scenario. In the third chapter we are going to study a brief introduction, brief study about production and employment, how and what the production is going on at the present, and what is the employment criteria in the present generation, and how the production is making an employment we are going to study in the chapter 3. Coming to fourth chapter, climate of India, we are having some seasonals, and based on the seasonals we are going to study Indian climate in different types of regions in India and different parts of the India, and their production, what they are been producing in certain seasons, and how the Indian climate is been. We are going to study all these in chapter 4. Coming to chapter 5, Indian rivers and water resources. In chapter 5 we are going to study about complete what are the rivers been existing in India, and what are the water resources which are been present in present scenario, and what are the rivers and from which the region they are being generated, and which region they are been flowing from, and where they are been located, rivers and all we are going to study. Water resources like we have some water resources, dams and irrigation dams like canals, seas, like ponds. All these water resources, how we are being used to it, we are going to study about some of the water resources. Like fifth chapter is completely about Indian rivers and water resources. Coming to the 10th chapter, we are going to study about food security. At present scenario, we are having so many issues based on the food security, because due to some chemical exchanges or production quality, all these comes under the food security. Based on food security, only the prices of the food and the production of the food and the consumption of the food, everything is being dependent. And based on the food security, we can learn n different of times that which food and where it is being produced and how it is being recognized and what are the process and how we are giving a food recognition of a product or a production good. So all these comes under food security, chapter 10. And coming to chapter 11, we are going to study about sustainable development with equity. In this chapter, in 11th chapter, we are going to study what is the sustainable development, how we are being surviving in the society, and what are the equal rights, and how we are going to move in the society, and what is happening in the society, and how we are being interacting with each other based on the culture and caste, religion, and based on high, low, rich, poor, everything comes under the sustainable development. Based on this, we learn some of the equalities that which being present in the present scenario. All this is a part of part 1. And now coming to the part 2, here we are going to study about world between the world wars. Like World War I and World War II, we will be studying in chapter 12 what was happened and how it has been started, and who is the main reason to start the wars, and what was the scenario at that time to start World War I and World War II for their own independence.